The sun had not fully risen over Manila yet, but the city was already breathing loud and fast. Jeepneys rattled through narrow streets painted with rust and hope. Vendors pushed carts of bananas and boiled eggs while counting coins that barely lasted the day. In one corner of Tondo, a young boy named Lio sat on the edge of a broken sidewalk, holding a guitar with strings older than his dreams. His shirt was faded from too many washes. His slippers were torn at the heel. He had not eaten since the night before, but his eyes carried something fuller than hunger. Today, he believed his life could change, even if nobody else did. People around him laughed when he told them he was going to an IrelandGotTalent audition in Manila. Some said it was fake. Others said auditions like that never come to poor people. Social media was full of rumors saying the 2025 auditions were not real, just a publicity trick. Lio heard all of it and still stood up. He had sung through rain leaking from a tin roof. He had sung while his mother slept, exhausted after cleaning houses all day. He had sung to keep his younger sister smiling when the lights were cut off. Singing was the only thing that never left him. Outside the audition hall, the line stretched long. Well-dressed kids held shiny instruments. Parents whispered plans and prayers. Lio stood quietly at the end. A guard looked at him twice and shook his head slowly. "This is not the place for you," the look said. Lio felt his throat tighten, but before fear won, he began to hum. It was soft at first, barely louder than traffic. Then it grew warmer. A melody shaped by nights without dinner and mornings without certainty. People turned. Conversation stopped. The guard froze for a second, then waved him forward, unsure why. Inside the hall, the air was cold and heavy. Cameras moved like silent animals. The judges sat behind the desk, tired from hours of performances. They had heard good voices and bad voices, and many forgettable ones. Their smiles were polite but guarded. When Lio walked in barefoot, the room shifted slightly. One judge raised an eyebrow. Another leaned back, crossing arms. Lio introduced himself and said he was from Tondo. His voice shook, but his eyes stayed steady. When asked why he came, he said, "Simply because this is my only chance." The first note surprised everyone. It was not polished. It was not safe. It was wild and cracked and alive. His voice climbed and fell like Manila streets after rain. The song spoke of empty plates and full hearts, of watching dreams pass by like buses you cannot afford, of believing even when belief hurts. The judges leaned forward without realizing it. One judge felt a lump rise in his throat, remembering his own childhood struggles. Another pressed fingers to lips as tears gathered quietly. As Lio reached the chorus, his voice broke, then found itself again, stronger, louder, fearless. The audience behind the camera stopped breathing. A cameraman wiped his eye. The final note hung in the air, trembling, then settled into silence so deep it felt holy. For a moment, nobody moved. Then one judge stood up, clapping hard, tears falling freely. Another judge followed, eyes red, voice shaking, saying, "This is why this show exists." The third judge tried to speak, but emotion stole the words. He only nodded again and again. The votes came fast and clear. 3 yes votes, filled with honesty and pain and pride. Lio dropped to his knees, unable to stand. He laughed and cried at the same time, hands covering his face. He thought of his mother, of his sister, of every night he sang to survive. The judges walked around the desk and lifted him up, embracing him like family. The audience rose, cheering not for a performance, but for a life-changing moment. Outside the hall, the sun was now high. Manila looked the same, noisy, crowded, imperfect. But for Lio, everything had shifted. The auditions everyone said were not real had become the most real moment of his life. He walked out, still barefoot, but taller somehow, carrying hope like a new song inside his chest. BornToBeWild was no longer just a title. It was his truth, and Manila had witnessed it.